Lesson 8. The world is changed. Up until the time of the flood, there was only one continent and one ocean. We need to go back and look at geology and a few other sciences again to understand what happened in the flood and how the world was changed by it. The world after the flood was not exactly the same as the world before the flood. So, if before the flood there was only one continent and one ocean, how come we have so many now? The answer is called continental drift. Let's see what it is before we go into how it happened. Remember that the center of the earth is hot, molten, melted liquid core. The earth around this center is very hot iron. And it is a thick layer of melted rock called a mantle, or the asthenosphere. The top layer, which is cool because of its contact with the atmosphere, is called the crust, or the lithosphere. Because the crust is floating on the liquid below it, it can and does move. The movement of heat from the center of the earth toward the cooler surface causes convection and therefore movement of the asthenosphere. So these plates, and they are plates, they float on top of the thick liquid below it, and they move. Now these plates can move in three different directions. They can rub sideways against each other, which is what happens in the San Andreas Fault in California. They can knock into each other, and they can pull apart from each other. Some of these plates have all ocean water on them, and some have land, and some have a mixture of land and water. So let me explain this to you. So these are the plates floating on the surface of, under here is all this molten liquid rock. So these plates float on it. Now they can brush up against the sides like this, slide against each side. And that's what happens in the San Andreas Fault in California. That causes earthquakes. Now sometimes they butt into each other, in which case they can either go up or one can go underneath the other. What happens depends entirely upon what is on this plate. If there are two land masses coming into each other, they will go up and form mountains, huge mountains. If one is land and one is water, the land will go up and the water will go down underneath it. If both are water, they'll fight over it, but sooner or later one of them will go down and one will come up. Now, the third thing that can happen is, instead of butting into each other, they can pull apart. And as they pull apart, this crack widens and that liquid underneath begins to come up. You get volcanoes coming up through here and pushing them apart even more. And this is why I suggest you watch the videos that are marked down below. Continental drift and tectonic plates. When two of the ocean's plates meet, one will force the other down so it can move over the top of it. When two land plates meet, they will go up. When a land and an ocean plate meet, the land will force the ocean plate down and the land will go up. That's what happened when the India, which was on a land plate, met the China and crashed into that land plate, and that formed the Himalaya mountains. Sometimes the hot liquid will push up between the plates and push them aside. This usually happens in the oceans to form huge rifts. These movements of the plates that make up the Earth's crust are called plate tectonics. And again, there's a link below to watch. Now scientists will try to convince you that the movement of the plates with the continents upon them took millions of years to reach their present location. And yet other scientists can prove that it happened very quickly. And so I recommend also those YouTube videos that are marked below.